So, Jason, I have to ask, it's just been about 2 months since HBO Max launched. Are you worried that it missed its shot to really gain consumers in this very crowded streaming landscape?
Not at all, not at all. And I say it, Julia, because if you take a look at the last 60 days, by any measure, from my perspective, we're in a really good position. If you take a look at what last year we thought and hoped we would be at the end of 2020, which is 36 million HBO and HBO Max subscribers. We just announced a couple of weeks ago that we're actually north of 36 million already. And obviously the number's going up every day.
But there is this question, though, of whether or not, as some traditional HBO subscribers cut the cord, you're adding others. You had about 4 million signups for HBO Max. Putting that in contrast to Disney, which had 10 million signups for its first day, Peacock, which has already had 10 million signups. Are those numbers just way lower than what you need to be competitive in this landscape?
No, I think if you actually dive deeper in terms of apples to apples comparison, certainly on the NBC side of things, I think you'll see a bit of a different story. But more importantly, in terms of your question about Disney Plus, keep in mind Disney is a 100-year surgically precise brand with regards to families with kids under the ages of 9, generally speaking. So they did exactly what they should have done, and kudos to them. Ours is a very different journey. I'd argue in success, ours is a bigger outcome because we are really going after all members of the family and all individuals. And so the opportunity is bigger, but it does mean that our journey is going to be different because we don't have a 100-year surgically precise brand around families, specifically with kids under the age of 9.
But you do have the brand of HBO, and HBO meant something very specific. And then there became all these different versions of HBO, HBO Go, Now Max, and a lot of confusion. And I know that's one reason you're really trying to elevate the HBO Max brand in particular. But what do you want that brand to mean? And how do you clarify that when there's all that noise about HBO and what these different versions are?
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, we're leaning into HBO. And to immediately answer your second question, quality is the answer. We want people, when they think of HBO Max, when they think of all the things that they can get from HBO Max, we want people to think that, wow, these stories, they're a cut above. And that really plays into the legacy and the history of HBO. I couldn't be prouder of the work that they've done. And then obviously things like Warner Brothers and DC and Harry Potter. We're talking about a nearly 100-year legacy of quality, and that's exactly what we're going to do to lean into it. I do want to say something, Julia, that you raised, which is, I think in hindsight, a mistake, which is we did have a number of brands in the market that were ultimately confusing, which was HBO Now and HBO Go. We have sunsetted those brands and those services, so now we are left with, rightly so, HBO Max and HBO. So it's a much simpler proposition for consumers.